So he was down preaching. They know them.
Share better.
I heard that. He was good. I heard on Facebook. I listened to him. It was really good.
Have everyone's attention. It is now 7 o'clock. I'd like to bring the March 14th, 2023 meeting to order. David, would you do an invocation for us and follow with me for the Pledge of Allegiance, please?
Let's pray. God, we come before you this evening, thanking you for this day and for your many blessings, and just for this group that's here and for what you plan for us. We ask now that you be with us, that we make wise decisions, not only for ourselves, but for the county and for the outreach and community. We ask now that you bless each and every one of us, keep our carries back home safe, and we'll thank you for it. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Sir.
Teach the mic.
I'd like to ask now if there's any conflict of interest from any of the members. If not, we'll move on to recognitions. Crystal? Sharon, you gonna do it? All right, good. Thank you.
Ms. Trent, you get this one for the supervisor? Come on, Randy. Recognitions and the opportunity for the Board of Supervisors to recognize achievements in our community with a focus on the accomplishments of students, employees, and our citizen volunteers who serve the county of Prince Edward. Tonight, we'd like to recognize our Employee of the Month. The board would like to recognize Sarah Trent as Employee of the Month for March. This month marks Ms. Trent's 26th year anniversary with Prince Edward County Buildings and Grounds. The unfaltering work ethic, positive spirit, and no stranger approach to life she possesses are contagious and have a way of making you feel right at home. She's quick to jump in to help her fellow coworkers with anything. Thank you, Sarah, for your choosing Prince Edward County to be your work family.
Let's go up.
Yeah, we gotta do those. Get out there.
Most importantly, because
Get in there, show us. Yeah. There, 'cause you're so nice and tall.
Okay, thank you.
Congratulations.
Congratulations, Ms. Trent.
thank you for all your. Move on, stay down here. We've got some very special guests. You want to bring the first group in?
Yes, sir. Kim's going to give me.
Okay. So this year, our Prince Edward County Middle School was fortunate. Both our girls and boys basketball teams won the Southside Middle School Basketball Conference Championship, and we're going to recognize both teams here this evening. And the first team is going to be the girls' team.
All right.
Have them come in and bring something. I think we're gonna line
We need to go up.
Oh, if y'all want to just,
Those they seated?
yeah,
Okay.
Come on, girls, Paul.
you just go on. What was that record again?
They tough.
All right.
Everybody remember what?
Parents, anybody want to stand up here and get a picture? Parents? Everybody good? We did take pictures on the
Thank you.
steps of the courthouse, and we will share those with the schools so that any parents that would like a copy, y'all can share that out. It'll be on our Facebook too.
Everybody good?
Anybody want to-
Anything else you want to add, Mr. Chairman?
I'm proud of you.
All right.
Just next time, can y'all have, I went to a couple of games.
Yeah,
in Cumberland. You need a little more points, so it's not so
So close?
scary.
Hey, you got the principal. This,
Give the lecture to the middle school and let her set the record straight.
Good afternoon,
good afternoon.
board. Thank you for having us. The first thing I want to ask my girls, what kind of athletes are you?
Student athletes.
That is the most important. How many years have you done this?
2.
2 years in a row. Unheard of. So we want to really shout out our children, their coaches, and their parents for all of their support. Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
Go point out this way.
That's right. Glad to see you again. Glad to see you again. 30 in a row.
That's cool they got to play that
Tough,
many.
man.
That's cool they got to play that many games. That's a lot, yeah. I mean, that's fun. Tell you what, man, keeps you showing up, keeps you on fire, right? Motivate them. Worst thing in the world is having a game be half sick. Let's go, I can't play.
We need to recognize them like that, though.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Encourage them.
That's an achievement.
That's right.
30, you know. Here comes some ballers. Here comes some players too.
Everyone there? I'm proud of it. This, you folks worked hard and done very well. We're all very proud of you. Wonderful to see you here with us tonight. This is a little award we want to give you. Middle school basketball team. And board supervisors. Thank you.
Again, guys, you should not fail me on this. What kind of athletes are you?
Student athletes.
So if you can't tell, our children are the best of the best. And that needs to be shared with everyone in the county. We are very proud of them, their coaches, and their parents. We expect excellence from our children, girls and boys, all of them. Thank you.
Way to go, way to go.
Congratulations, fellas.
So these cats can be tall.
Yeah, that dude right there can be tall.
Gotta recruit some of them for my middle school.
All right, we'll move on to the public participation. We've got one person, G.W. Lewis, like to speak.
How y'all doing tonight?
Yourself?
Makes me really proud to be a citizen of Prince Edward County and see this participation that just went on here. One other thing I'd like to bring up tonight is the traffic conditions in the village of Rice, Rice's Depot Road. Since the rails to trails have been incorporated in there, we have had an influx of traffic, people walking, children playing on the streets. And I would like for the board to consider reducing the speed limit through the village of Rice, Rice's Depot Road, and Pisgah Church Road from 35 to 25 miles an hour for a safety factor. I know it doesn't sound like much, but I think it would help. People come down through that street running 50 and 60 miles an hour. 35 is too fast. Because we have an influx of children on that street now. People park at the church and walk and ride their bicycles through the rails to trails, and it's gotten to be a real problem. So I would like for this board or the Department of Transportation to consider lowering that speed limit to 25 miles an hour. And if there's anything I need to do to help the process, please let me know before somebody gets hurt.
And I'd like to say, with the rail to trails, people don't just stay on the trail, they come off and ride up through Rice both ways, you know, so they in the road. They're not only on the trail, they're also on Rice Depot Road. And so it needs to be lower. High Rock Church Road down below Rice, they're 25. Ain't but one church on the road, and their speed limit is 25 on both ends. So I don't see where it's a big thing to ask for us to be 25. I call us because that's where I drive all the time. Sure. If y'all see me drive, you'd want it 25. That's where it is. You want it to slow down.
So if y'all don't have any questions, that's all I got to say. And if I need to come back, I will. And if I probably don't get it passed, I will come back. Thank y'all.
Thank you.
Thank you, GW.
And that's not something that we can do, right?
We need that. We
can request that, right?
Request a speed study.
Yes, yeah,
That's an item we need to take up with Scott.
yeah.
Frederick?
The board can act if you wish to request a speed study. If I heard correctly, Pisgah Church and Rice's Depot Road. You can request a speed study on both roads.
I think we should. If we need to make a motion, we
Bill, you want
will.
to make a motion?
They make a motion.
Second.
We got a motion, second, and any questions? Do a roll call vote. Harrison?
Yes.
Pat Cooper,
Yes.
Dustin,
Yes.
Bill,
Yes.
Cannon,
Yes.
Jerry,
Yes.
David.
Yes, sir.
My vote is yes. It's carried, so we will proceed with that.
And once we get the results, we'll be back in touch with you and let you know.
After Bill mentioned this last meeting,
He did.
I rode through there on, just for the sole purpose. It feels like a 25-mile-an-hour road. It does not feel like, it feels like a road in the middle of a village, and I saw some activity.
In a
And,
neighborhood.
if you say, if people are gonna drive over the limit anyway, the limit needs to be lower than it is.
All right.
Also, maybe we can get the sheriff out there to do some enforcement.
I think we found a revenue source.
A patrol.
I just don't want to see anybody get hurt.
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
Especially the children.
Do we have anybody call in, Doug?
I do not believe we have. Cheryl, anybody on the line?
No.
Sir.
We'll go on to the board comments. Harrison?
It's great to see everybody here tonight. Thank you for coming out and participating in local government. We can try to be as in touch as possible, but it really takes you reaching out to us, voicing your concerns. That's what we're here for. Reach out to your representative. All of our contact information is online. So please, we look forward to hearing from you, getting to know each of you if we don't know you already. So give us a phone call or an email, and we want to help Prince Edward grow to be the place that we all know and love it to be today. So thank you for being here tonight.
Thank you. Patty?
I'd like to say congratulations to Ms. Trent. I remember those 26 years ago when you first came here. Your smile has always been the same. You've been cordial to everyone, and that means a lot to us. So I want to say thank you for that. I'd like again to say congratulations to Prince Edward County Middle School girls and boys. And I can tell you, I miss going to see them play. They bring a lot of excitement to the game. And welcome to everyone that's here. And it is important for you to see how your local government works. Thank you.
Good evening, everybody. It's good to have everybody here. This crowd looks good. And Patty basically took my comments. I was going to say the same thing, but I do want to say congratulations to Mrs. Trent. You walk in that building and see that smile, that means so much. Smile never hurt anybody. Somebody can be feeling low, they can look at Miss Trent, you ask a question, she's right there. I also congratulate the teams. I'm very proud of them. Former educator of the school system, but always an educator, and I'm proud of our youth. Thank you again for coming. Thank you.
Bill?
Just glad to see everybody start to show up and let us know what you want. We can talk about it. So if you need anything, just holler. I like to talk anyway, so come on down and talk. I think we're headed the right way. So let's keep pushing.
Basically, what others have said, it's a great crowd, good to see everybody, and being engaged and calling our attention to what needs to be attended to. And thanks so much.
Jerry?
Follow everything that's already been said. Just want to personally congratulate Mr. Trent and also the girls and boys middle school basketball team for their successful wins. And thank you for being here and a part of local government.
David?
I'd like to say it's an extreme congratulations to Ms. Trent, 26 years. We appreciate your time and effort to this county. To the girls and boys, hey, that's a big shout out to y'all. Big thing for us. And we're appreciative as a board. For the crowd that's here tonight, tremendous crowd. Thanks for being here. For whatever your reason is, whether it's good, bad, or indifferent, we appreciate you being here. Thanks.
And along with everything else that's said, Ms. Trent, we thank you so much. We're very glad to have you and doing a wonderful job. And all the students, I can't praise you enough, because when you're trying to get an education and doing sports, it takes a lot of time, a lot of effort, and I know the parents have really backed you well. And keep up the good work. I'm glad to see everyone here tonight. I hope this room stays full like this for all our meetings. Glad to see y'all. Thank you.
Absolutely.
We'll move on to the consent agenda. Is any questions or anything needs to be discussed about that?
Move that we approve the consent agenda.
Second.
Have a motion that's been seconded. Roll call vote. Dessa?
Yes.
Patty?
Yes.
Harrison?
Yes.
David?
Yes.
Jerry?
Yes.
Cannon?
Yes.
Bill?
Yes.
And my vote is yes. Highway matters. Sarah, are you gonna be taking notes, or Scott? Not here tonight, I don't believe. Okay. Anybody have any information that Sarah can pass along? Needs to be done?
Rather was Brant for asking me to just check on that, if you would, Sarah. Your road's good, Jerry, I can't believe that.
No, sign's still crooked.
I knew I'd get you
Road
started.
signs. And that both, be state and county needs straightening, especially particularly the one on 15 South and Mount Pleasant. If it's kind of two,
Is it
it's
the-
several
is it the
signs.
County or the route number?
It's the route number and the county sign, it's both.
Lou, in your district, I got a phone call today, County Line Road, where it turns again to go Seal County Line Road, but going towards, I guess the first, right there at Libby, Laxton them.
Yeah.
That road is being cut off, that gentleman is raising Cane at
The trucks turn and cut the bank down.
And he's very upset. If you would take, right out there and take a look at that, and ask Scott too, it's County Line Road, right past the Laxus, where it makes the turn.
The front wheel is in a big hole, and they're trying to miss the hole, so they're dragging the trailer up on the bank to get around it.
What block that is?
I don't, it'll be.
Go past Spring Creek Church, next road to the left is county line, like you're going to Madisonville. I can't tell you what block it is.
The dirt up on that whole bank's being cut off. 5,000 block, there you go.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you, Trey.
Patty, you, doesn't have anything?
No.
Only thing I can mention that, VDOT did patch some of the holes on the old Prospect Road going to Prospect, but they missed one, a major one. Might get them to go back. It's a big indenture in the road. If you hit it, it can really pitch you out the road if you're not careful.
Is that, east of the Methodist Church?
Yes.
Correct.
Mm-hmm.
The bridge on Worsham Road, I mentioned last month to Scott. He can need an update. Went through it this past weekend. Looked like they filled some potholes, but that bridge really need to be replaced.
Is that the one over, Briary?
No, Worsham Road.
Yeah, is it over Briary?
Yeah, over Briar, yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Excuse me, Lou, I have one question. Sarah,
Yes, ma'am.
ask Scott when that project on 15 South will be completed. Somebody almost hit me head on. They didn't see anything coming until I got in that lane, and then somebody coming from Keysville headed north just came on down the highway. See when that project will be finished?
They have moved over to the other side of the bridge.
Yes.
So they're probably 3/4 of the way through.
Yes.
It's dangerous.
But to me, that's more dangerous.
It is.
It is proven more dangerous. Yeah.
Narrow.
Yeah.
Narrow. Have anything else?
I'm still getting a little fuss about the flashing sign on 460 in front of Chris Chapman's house. They got the directional sign right in front of his house. He'd like to get it moved a little bit.
Is that the message board?
That's right, that's the one, yeah.
I still personally think they need to do more with that intersection down there.
It's in the works.
Yeah, the last conversation that Doug and I had with him is that they asked for our patience until it's like substantial completion of all of their proposed changes is, they say mid to late May, I think.
Okay. Anything else? All right, we'll close that. We'll move on to item 10, Community Partners Update. Sharon Harrop, is she available, please? President, CEO, Steps Incorporated.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Thank you so much for having us tonight. It is truly always a pleasure to listen to your meetings. When I'm not here in person, I am online, just so you guys know I'm keeping up with you. And what I really want to highlight tonight is the fact that last year, all of our services touched over 2,096 individuals. What is important for you to know about that 2,096 number is that that is unduplicated. So if you think about somebody that comes into our organization looking for help, maybe it's utility assistance, maybe they're homeless, maybe they have a child that's eligible for Head Start, we not only serve the need that they walk in the door with, but we also make sure that they're keenly aware of the other services we have to offer. So if we were to extrapolate, on an average, our clients receive at least 3 services. So if you take that 2,096 number and multiply it times 3, we touched 6,000 residents overall in our jurisdiction last year. And proudly, as you would imagine, Prince Edward County is #1 utilizer. Of those 2,096 unduplicated served, 770 of those were Prince Edward County residents. And because we've got a big group here, I just want to take a second and sort of go through some of the services that we do offer. First is our early childhood education. We stepped in when the prior Community Action Agency lost the Head Start program. And we cleaned it up and we stood it up. We now have centers in 7 counties. Prince Edward and the town of Farmville actually have 2 centers. We have the one on Griffin Boulevard, and we also have the one on Lane Street. Both of the centers in your county serve early Head Start, and pregnant moms, which means we can start working with a mother that is pregnant to make sure she gets all the prenatal care she needs. And then when the baby is 6 weeks old, we can enroll them in our early childhood education through our early Head Start, and then they can matriculate to Head Start. Studies have found that if you can reach the child at the earliest point possible, you will be able to impact that child both emotionally, physically, and psychologically. So we are very proud that we are investing in your children. The other piece is our workforce and economic development. And many of you have known STEPS because that's what our cornerstone has been. We were founded as a sheltered workshop. We were founded to provide services to people with disabilities, and we continue to do that today. Thank you for your support of our recycling center that employs young men with disabilities. Thank you for supporting our secure document shredding, which also employs adults with disabilities. But we also want to make sure that you understand that we also now have a supported employment program. So we have job coaches on our staff now that are able to work with individuals with disabilities, helping them find a job that they're interested in doing. We job coach them right on the job site, and then we make sure and maintain contact with that individual, his family or caregivers, and the employer indefinitely. So if something happens and he loses the job, we can cycle him right back through again to help him get reemployed. But not just for people with disabilities. We also have job training programs for seniors, and we also work with VIEW clients from your local departments of social services. So our workforce development and economic development touches a lot of the individuals in your jurisdiction that have barriers to employment. The fastest growing segment of our business, in all honesty, is our housing services. And it's my pride to introduce you to Sean Rozier. Sean is our VP of Housing, and we want Sean to address you guys for just a couple of minutes to talk about our supported housing model, which used to be our tiny village model. So Sean, you want to step up?
Certainly. Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Appreciate you having us here. I guess we are working on currently a supportive housing project. We've had a homeless housing task force that's regional in nature. that has been working on this resource for our homeless in the community. We notified you back in October that we had switched from an emergency shelter project to a supportive housing project because of the need for more operational funds to support the project. So in doing that, we began a partnership with the Virginia Supportive Housing, which is an organization out of Richmond that's a premier organization for supportive housing. And so they are the experts in property funding and development, property management, and service delivery for the homeless. And so we're partnering with them for the development and management with STEPS and community partners providing services to the program participants in the supportive housing project. So based on, and I will say also, we're getting ready to enter into an MOU with them for a formal partnership. We're in the final stages of working on that. So there's been a lot of momentum, and they've asked in our discussions, based on operational cost, they've recommended that we explore a 60 to 80 unit apartment building for the program, with the potential for some emergency shelter beds on the first floor. So I know that our request in October mentioned supportive housing, but we wanted to update you with this, also this pivot, based on our partnership with them. And we're going to be working with the town of Virginia Supportive Housing and STEPS regarding getting the necessary approvals for this project to go forward. Virginia Supportive Housing will apply for tax credits and other funding sources to complete the construction that will cover the majority of the costs for the project. However, we still need your support and the support of other local governments towards the construction costs, and so I know Sharon will cover some of those specifics, and we had sent you a request previously, but we thank you for your consideration.
And the reason I wanted to bring Sean with me tonight is that so that he could speak to you. You've heard us use the phrase tiny village, tiny home village, where we were going to put our homeless folks. The bottom line is we heard our local governments loud and clear. If we're going to invest ARPA money in your organization, do not come back and ask for more operational money. We heard you, we investigated, and the tiny homes is not sustainable without ongoing support. In most communities, those types of villages are run by the faith communities, and they've been run for 20 and 30 years by faith communities, by YWCAs. So we took a step back, and Virginia Supportive Housing really did offer a model that we know and we're confident in would be a great model for our community. So we are requesting that you guys consider allocating $100,000 of your ARPA funds in your second pool of ARPA money. We know the project will be under construction by then. We have asked you guys for 100 because you're the number one utilizer. We've asked Nottoway for 75,000 because they're number two, and we got official commitment today that we are getting the 75,000 from Nottoway. So now we have one county that has agreed to fund, and we're hoping that the other counties will follow suit. So just to be transparent, you guys are being asked for 100, Nottoway for 75, and the other counties are being asked for 50. The impact on the other counties and their utilization is significantly lower than Prince Edward and Nottoway. So we are hoping, as you continue to matriculate through your ARPA fund allocations, that you will look favorably on investing $100,000 in this project. But we're not looking to local government to do this alone. We already have a $168,000 grant from the Centra organization for this project. We've got a local pledge of $200,000. And if we can get the funds from the county, we will be taking to the table over $700,000 in local investments in this project. So it is a lot of money. We understand that, but we think we're pretty good at what we do. So we're hoping that you will look favorably on the $100,000 allocation request out of your second part of ARPA funds. Now I want to pivot real quickly and talk about Longwood Village and South Main neighborhood. We are very excited. Progress is moving forward. There should be a purchase agreement between Longwood University and Better Housing Coalition, hopefully next week. So we are still optimistic that that project is going to be able to take place. We're hoping that you guys, if anybody approaches you, you will support it. I think the ability of us to provide affordable housing for people of moderate means, and that's sort of the new buzzword. It's not low income, it's not super high income, it's people that wait on you in restaurants. It's people that work at the hospitals and environmental services. It is those people that serve us that we're looking to be able to provide them with good housing choice, whether it be rental, maybe some home ownership, maybe the difference between an age-in-place cottage home, a townhouse, a condo. So we're hoping that you guys will support this. Right now, we're working through the town of Farmville with their PUD process, and hoping that that will become a new zoning ability for that project. Domestic violence and sexual assault. You all are keenly aware that Madeline's House closed down the end of November. You graciously reallocated the funds that had not been sent to that organization to us. So as of today, we are providing transportation and hotel housing vouchers when there is not a domestic violence bed anywhere in the state. We're doing that with y'all's help. We're covering it with y'all's money and the other counties. And we're also going to be setting up a sexual assault recovery program. We're doing this in collaboration with the YWCA of Lynchburg, and we're doing it in collaboration with Central Southside Community Hospital. Many of you will remember a couple of years ago when students at Longwood were really clamoring at the need for forensic nursing in our emergency department here in Farmville. I am proud to stand here as the chair of the Central Southside Community Hospital Board to tell you that we will have a forensic nursing program in our ED by midsummer. So when that occurs, we believe we're going to see the number of victims suffering from domestic violence and those who have been victimized through sexual assault. We believe we're going to see those numbers go up because they can now be treated in our community and not be hauled to Lynchburg or to one of the Lynchburg and Richmond facilities. We will be training volunteers to serve as comfort workers. That's probably the best way for me to describe it. If someone appears at the ED and is a victim of sexual assault, there will be one of our volunteers on call. That volunteer has to be able to respond to the emergency room within 30 minutes. That person is there only to provide comfort. They're not counseling, they're not doing therapy, they're not interfering with any type of interviews or forensic collection of evidence. We're beginning to build a pool of people that are interested in doing this. We should have a newspaper article coming out in the next 2 weeks, really talking to the community and asking for volunteers that are interested in being trained. There will not be a comfort volunteer provided that has not completed the training. We cannot take that risk. We don't want to jeopardize the victims. We don't want to jeopardize the volunteer, and we definitely don't want to jeopardize the hospital. But what we're finding right now is with the State Department of Social Services, the State Department of Criminal Justice Services, they rescinded money from Madeline's House. They took money back. DCJS took over $800,000 back. Sean and I have been in communication with those two state agencies for almost 2 years, ringing the bell that things weren't going well down here. And then the minute the official announcement came that they were closing, we let them know that we'd gone to local government. You guys had reallocated funds. We were ready for training. We were ready to put services on the street. There's no movement. There's no movement from the State Department of Social Services. There's no movement from Department of Criminal Justice Services. My ask of you tonight is if any of you have any political influence in those two state institutions, would you please pick up the phone, drop them an email, let them know that you have a local nonprofit organization that stands ready to meet the needs of domestic violence victims and sexual assault victims. We need training. We are not naive enough to think that we're going to be able to translate working with the homeless or working with people with disabilities into serving people that are suffering from domestic violence and sexual assault. So in the meantime, I have submitted a congressional directed spending request through Senator Warner and Senator Kane That would provide 12 months of operational funding. The beauty is that we have a local donor here in our community that has pledged to donate $575,000 to STEPS so that we can purchase the former Madeline's House domestic violence shelter building that is here in the town of Farmville, so that we can keep that asset in our own community. Wow. It's fabulous. But an empty building is just that. In all honesty, I was expecting to tour that building and see it furnished. There is not a stitch of furniture in that building. The privacy fence has been taken down. The whole house generator is not there. There's no bedroom furniture. There's no den or living furniture. They took out 2 sets of washers and dryers, 3 refrigerators. And I'm not sure what can be done about it at this point. We don't have proof of who did what. But I'm sharing that information with you because if it was my organization that had gone out of business, we have a plan to make sure how do you dissolve your assets. It's in our articles of incorporation, it's in our bylaws. So we've got to start from scratch. That's where the money from congressional directed spending could come in to help outfit that. We're not coming back to you to ask for funding to help put equipment in that building and furniture in that building. We think there's a strong enough community initiative, faith community, habitat that will help us outfit that building. But what I do need to ask from you guys is your advocacy. I know that Senator Warner is going to be in town on Friday. I have made a copy of our proposal. I do intend to give it to him directly or one of his staff. But if you've got time with him on Friday, would you please put a plug in for the creation of domestic violence and sexual assault services here in this region? I find it highly upsetting that we fought so long to get forensic nursing and sane nursing in our local community hospital, and now we're not going to have sexual assault and domestic violence services that are operated out of this region. So I'm asking, please use your governmental pull and your authority and your influence wherever you can. We need those 2 state agencies to put a plan together on how they're going to reallocate the money that was rescinded from this region to us. And we also need to make sure that at the congressional level, and I know things are, you know, when we got the confirmation they've received our package, it's like we can't guarantee funding. We don't know when the funding will come through. Congress has to vote on it. I know all that. But I still think the project will stand on its own when you look at the fact that we're bringing to the table a building with a tax assessed value of $600,000. So please, I'm asking for your influence. I am happy to answer any questions that you may have for me, and I know I've taken way longer than I should have, but this was the perfect forum and opportunity for me to share with you that that building is empty. I don't know where the whole house generator is. I don't know where the washer and dryers and the refrigerators are. So our community deserves better than what we have gotten in that field. So thank you for your time. Thank you for your tolerance. And I appreciate any support you can give us.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Next, Daniel Jordan, Park Manager, High Bridge Trail State Park.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman and Board of Supervisors
Good evening.
Good evening.
and county staff and the community. I'm here to talk about your park today and give you all, I'm going to throw a couple numbers at you so you can see kind of the health of Virginia State Parks and High Bridge Trail and give you an update on where we are with High Bridge. So we'll start with the big numbers. So Virginia State Parks right now, and we do a economic study and impact based that Vince McNeely moved from Virginia Tech to Longwood, so we stole him. And so he does all the analytics for us in the park, so we have good metrics to know what we're doing. So right now, Virginia State Parks is 41 state parks. We have 3 land bank parks that there's no money for development, and then we have 2 in process that we're getting ready. So Sweet Run up in Loudoun County, and then Mayo River in this, down near Danville is the other one. And so with that, we also just received a donation in Halifax County for 7,200 acres. So Tim Sweeney, who, if you've ever heard of Fortnite, he is a video game nerd and loves conservation. And so he donated a $12 million piece of property to Virginia State Parks last year. So that will become Virginia's largest state park down at Stanton River because it's adjoining them. But what does that mean for us? So our budget is about $53 million. And in that, 55% or $30 million is from revenue that we actually generate. So when you come to the state park, you pay your parking fee. That goes into our revenue fund, and then we take about $23 million from the general fund. So if you're a taxpayer, that equates to $2.77 per person. So when you go to Highbridge, know that just over 6 cents of your taxes go to that park. So we're a good value. We comprise 0.06% of the state budget. And so we think we do a pretty good job managing that money. And then with that, the total attendance, and this is 21 because we haven't gotten the 22 numbers yet, was just under 8 million visitors for the whole state. And at Highbridge Trail is about 140,000. And then the economic impact for the whole state with Virginia State Parks is $324 million. Here locally, we're looking at a $6 million economic impact to Prince Edward, to Cumberland, to Nottoway, to Appomattox County. And that equates here to 98 jobs created, with 89 of those being full-time employment opportunities because of the park. And then at Highbridge itself, this year we have just over $2 million investment capital expenditure. So we're working on the visitor center at Camp Paradise. And so the building is about $1.7 million, and then we're also paving the road into Camp Paradise. If you've ever been down to Camp Paradise, you will dust your car in the summer, and so we will have a paved road at the end of that. And as far as the visitor center goes, if you all notice, it was a wet winter. And so it took a long time to get out of the ground, but we've been the contractor's been pouring concrete, so we have footers in the ground, and we'll have a slab soon. So it'll arise out of the ground soon. So we're looking forward to that. And then the other Highbridge numbers. So our visitor revenue in 21 was 73,000. If it was a million, it would be amazing. $73,000. We're going to push close to 100,000 this year. And so when I came here in 2015, we did right at 40,000. So we've more than doubled in the last 7 years. And then our park expenditure. So Highbridge Trail spends $555,000 in the community itself. That's with our budget and full-time staffing. And our staffing is we have 5 full-time employees and up to 9 part-time employees over the year. But the economic spending, the impact is just shy of $900,000 just for Highbridge. And so what does that mean? So what else are we doing? So we're building a visitor center. But we're really plugged into the community. And so the first thing I want to say is you all know that we had a rescue under Highbridge last week. So we had a pup in trouble. I was in Cumberland County at a meeting, and I called Chris Revere with Animal Control, and he said, I'm in Rice, I'll get down there quickly. He did. He was able to assess the situation and get Trey and JR out with Swiss Water Rescue. And Sarah called me right away. And so it was just a really good collaborative effort. And it's just one of the many examples that we have for the community working together, whether it's the county or the town, our friends group, Pamplin Area Legacy Supporters. It's just such a good community involvement. Tomorrow, Sheriff Epps is sending out the trustees to pick up trash on 460 and along the trail, which we greatly appreciate. So thank you for doing that. And so we're excited about what's going on. With that, and talking about community partners, I first want to talk about our friends group. So the Friends of Highbridge Trail, which they're hiding out in the back over here, fantastic organization. They they have been supportive of this community, of this park. They do it in the spending of their time volunteering for races. They do it in spending of money. And so they've been a fundraising powerhouse over the years. They bought us 2 tractors. They just purchased, we have new mile markers. So if you've ever seen our green Carson post that they've been breaking off and stuff, so we have brand new recycled plastic mile markers that are coming in that were delivered the other day. They're also looking, we've done several cleanups on Aspen Hill Road for trash, and they're looking at adopting that spot in that highway. And so it's been a great organization. I greatly appreciate you all and the support that you give. And then there's also some carryover with Pamplin area legacy supporters, and there's some dual membership going on, but the same, like supportive of races and events, and so they've really made Highbridge such a joy to work at, because we're able to do so much more for the community. And when I come here tonight, this is everybody's park, right? This is not mine. This is yours, and so we want to make sure that we're maintaining it and keeping it up to the highest level. And so with that said, the other big thing is we're building a visitor center, and we're also expanding into Pamplin. And so it was 10 years in the making to get Pamplin purchased. The 30 acres, a lot of moving parts. There's an active crossing up there. And so, but we were able to purchase it and work with Norfolk Southern. Well, that's great. So we have a mile, 30 acres of property. But what are we going to do with it? Well, this last year, we were one of 2 parks that was successful in obtaining a Recreation Trail Program grant, a RTP grant, for $365,000. That's an 80-20 match. And so DCR, and it is a DCR grant, but it's through Maine DCR. So State Parks is going to pony up the 20% to make that happen. And so we are right now in the process. We're in a NEPA, so the environmental review, and so what National Park Service has to review that. Once the NEPA is complete, then we can go to bid on it. And so the last piece of that is the town of Pamplin has been a great supporter of the park as well, and we've wanted to be there for a long time, right? So over 10 years since we started, and the rail they had kept it for storage for so many years, but now we have the last mile. The town has graciously offered up a half acre of property, and that will be the Western Terminus parking lot. And so out of this mile that's going into Pamplin, almost all of it's in Prince Edward. The only part that's not is the parking lot in the very last sliver. And they are also, before they donate it to us, they're going to build a parking lot on it. And so this is a generous gift, and so we're very thankful for that. And we're excited about moving into Pamplin. And we're also, once we get this done, we can move into Burkeville. And we'll finish out the trail and keep doing things. And the last thing I'll say is Highbridge is amazing, and it's a majestic centerpiece of the bridge. But we're not just the bridge. We're 31 miles, soon to be over 33 miles. And so often I say that Highbridge needs to be a string of pearls. That we're not just Highbridge, but what is it about Burkeville? What is it about Rice? What is it about Camp Paradise? What is it about Town and Tuggle and Prospect and Pamplin? And so as we go along, the hope is that we highlight the history and we can add attractions to these areas to make it not just the people there see the bridge. And so I greatly appreciate all your time this evening. And if there's any questions, I'll be happy to answer them. All right, looks like I covered it all. So thank you all for the time.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jane. Thank you much. Move on to public hearing. Next item, update to Chapter 70 taxation. Sarah, please.
Good evening. I will introduce this topic. As the board will recall, at its February 14th meeting, you adopted transient occupancy, an updated transient occupancy tax ordinance that modeled the model ordinance that was drafted by the Commissioner of Revenue Work Group. And the purpose of this model ordinance was to enable localities around Virginia to better facilitate the collection and the remitting of transient occupancy taxes from these accommodations intermediaries, which are the Airbnb and Vrbo. And so tonight, the purpose of the public hearing is to transition your emergency ordinance, which you enacted in February, to a permanent ordinance, and that requires the public hearing and the advertisements, as is typical for the adoption of ordinances. So, Mr. Chairman, that's the introduction for your public hearing tonight.
Have any questions? Discussion?
Actually, I have to open, hang on 1 second. He's going to,
Anybody?
he's going to see if there's anybody signed up. We need to open it up.
What do you think, David?
Make a motion that we open this up to the, I think Doug's going to get it. Anybody signed up, Doug?
Nobody signed up, Mr. Chairman.
Nobody? We need to change what we've got, our ordinance.
So you basically what you want to do with the motions there is to, on page 97.
We need to vote on the motion
No,
to open it.
yeah, we got to vote on the motion.
Yeah.
We need a second. Dave?
Yeah, Jerry second.
Second it.
And your motion is?
Voting to open discussion.
Okay. David?
Yes, sir.
Jerry?
Yes.
Cannon?
Yes.
Bill?
Yes.
That's right.
Yes.
Eddie?
Yes.
Harrison?
Yes, sir.
And mine is yes also.
Doug, you say no one has signed up to speak to it. I would just say to the board, I mean, well, this is something we did as an emergency because it was one of those things, but it needs to be made permanent. If we're going to continue this direction.
For sure. That's your motion, David?
I would make a motion, I guess we need to close this first, though.
Got to close it first.
Yeah.
Close first.
Yes.
Open, ask the public if there's anybody who cares to participate.
Anybody like to speak? Anything to this matter? And we,
I think you got
one
Mr.
gentleman
Hicks.
back.
Mr. Hicks.
Yeah, so what is your name, sir?
My name is Bemichi Hicks. I'm a resident of Larkin District, where Mr. Jenkins is my representative on the board. I'm going to backtrack. This is not about this, but I didn't get here early enough to sign up for, to speak in the beginning. I just wanted to say a thank you to the board, to Mrs. Pride, and to Patty, Mr. Jenkins, Townsend, everybody who supported me in the passing of my mother back in October, as well as Piedmont Senior Resources, who really was there when she needed them and the family and I needed them. They are a vital source, you know, for the community. And I just want to say thank you from my heart for all of your support and outreach that you gave. You know, we missed the chicken this time from you, Bill, but we thank you for that. I didn't mean to interrupt where we are, but I figured if I don't say this now, I had to come to another meeting, you know. But thank you so much. God bless you.
Thank you. Sorry for your loss.
Welcome.
Any other comments? Discussions?
Close the public hearing,
Yep.
Mr. Chairman.
And we'll close the public hearing. Motion?
So moved.
Second.
David?
Yes.
Jerry?
Yes.
Cannon?
Yes.
Bill?
Yep.
That's Fry.
Yes.
Patty Cooper?
Yes.
Harrison?
Yes.
And mine is yes. All right, we have a motion now on this matter.
I move that the Board of Supervisors enact the emergency ordinance as a permanent ordinance as Chapter 70 Taxation, Article 8, Transient Occupancy Tax of the County Code.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. I'll do a roll call vote. Harrison?
Yes.
Patty?
Yes.
That's Pryor.
Yes.
Bill?
Yes.
Cannon?
Yes.
Jerry?
Yes.
David?
Yes.
My vote is yes. Next item, amendment to Chapter 54. Robert Love.
Yes, sir. Mr. Chairman, members of the board, I'm here tonight before you. The county has received new flood rate insurance maps and flood rate insurance study from FEMA. It's been a number of years since they've been working on flood study in our locality. They also did the flood study in town of Farmville. As part of this, whenever a locality gets new flood maps, you must update your flood zone ordinance. Our flood zone maps are effective on April 19th, so that brings us to tonight. Staff took the DCR state model and used that as the basis of the flood zone ordinance, which you have in front of you. DCR has looked at this already, this model, since you authorized this public hearing, and they are okay with their standards. Subsequent to this meeting, it'll go back to them, and they'll send it to FEMA to certify it, and then once that's done, that will be the new, this flood zone ordinance would be the new ordinance in place. There are not many areas of the county that have changed. There's some areas that are close to the town of Farmville and some in the town of Farmville that are flood prone, as you know from the recent storms we've had. One thing that is in this ordinance is 2-footer freeboard. What that means is any new construction that would go in a floodway, the base elevation of the floor would be 2 foot above the flood elevation. So that's not in our current ordinance. That helps with flood insurance as a project. It also helps us as our rating with FEMA. I'll be glad to answer any questions. This has been advertised in the Farmville Herald, and nobody's contacted my office for or against this ordinance. And as an aside, town of Farmville is also looking at 2-footer freeboard. That's a standard now in the construction world. So we didn't do anything beyond that.
We open the public hearing now. This, motion to do so, I guess.
So moved.
Second.
Motion seconded. David?
Yes, sir.
Jerry?
Yes.
Cannon?
Yes.
Bill?
Yeah.
That's Pryor.
Yes.
Patty Cooper?
Yes.
Harrison?
Yes.
And my vote's yes. Any comments from the audience? Any questions? Nobody signed in either?
We got some.
We got one back.
What is flood? Like it's 2 feet above flood, what's the?
It's based on where the region is. It's not a set number. It's based on where FEMA has told us that.
100-year flood or?
100-year flood, yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Any more questions, comments? We'll close. Motion?
Motion to close the public hearing.
Second?
Second.
Motion and seconded. Harrison?
Yes.
Patty?
Yes.
Dessa?
Yes.
Bill?
Yes.
Cannon?
Yes.
Jerry?
Yes.
David?
Yes.
My vote's yes. Recommending for a motion?
I move that the Board of Supervisors approve the ordinance amendment and to reordain Chapter 54 with the floods of Prince Edward County Code.
Second.
And motion is seconded. Bill?
Yes.
Cannon?
Yes.
Jerry?
Yes.
David?
Yes.
Harrison?
Yes, sir.
Patty?
Yes.
Dessa?
Yes.
My vote is yes. Next request from Blackwood Capital. Robert?
Yes, sir. Mr. Chairman, members of the board, we're here tonight to consideration of special use permit filed by Blackwood Capital LLC to construct and operate a convenience store and fuel station. As you know, this is Wawa Corporation. Representative is here as well tonight. This is on the west side of Farmville Road at the intersection of Commerce Road. This parcel is in a commercial zoning district, but also the Highway Corridor Overlay District. So if you look in your packet, you'll see that they've proffered a very nice-looking building with various finishes, stone, brick, raised metal roof on the building and canopy. The Highway Corridor District was created by you all and specifically to have enhanced architectural details, interparcel connectivity, and limit signage, and have enhanced landscaping. The Planning Commission held their advisory public hearing on February 21st. No one spoke in opposition. If you look at your draft minutes, we actually had speakers come and speak in favor of this applicant. The Planning Commission recommended potential conditions, which you have in your packet, to go along with this, and recommended approval. County staff's of the opinion that this is generally compatible with the zoning district that it's in and will have minimal impacts as far as traffic and noise. I do want to state that so you pay attention to their site plan, there is a secondary entrance off of Commerce, so there's another way in this. VDOT has specified they have a turn lane and a taper to get into the site, and it will have interparcel connectivity with the parcel that is between that and Lowe's. So this will be the only curb cut on Highway 15 from that intersection.
Okay,
I'd be glad to answer any additional questions, and like I said, representatives from Blackwood and Wawa are here tonight.
Thank you, Robert. Public hearing on this.
Yes, sir.
All right. Motion go into public hearing.
So moved.
Have a second? Have a motion and seconded. Bill?
Yes.
Cannon?
Yes.
Jerry?
Yes.
David?
Yes.
Harris?
Yes.
Patty?
Yes.
Odessa?
Yes.
My vote is yes. Have anybody signed up?
Yes, sir.
No? Anyone like to speak on behalf of this, or for or against? Any comments, questions? Anyone like to hear from the representatives here tonight?
Any of the reps would like to speak?
Good evening. My name's Mike Barga. I'm the real estate engineer for Wawa, representing them tonight, and then for the Virginia region. I just kind of wanted to say briefly that the reason that Wawa is coming to Prince Edward County is because of the community feel that we all feel tonight. Seeing everyone honor the middle school basketball team, men's and women's, was great to see, and that's something that we really like and really look forward to becoming a partner in this community too. And that's just something I wanted to say briefly, but if there's any questions in regard to what we're proposing out on the site, I'm here for any questions you may have.
How many jobs?
It's about 40 to 50 per store that we open, that will create 40, 50 jobs, not including, those of who are going to be building it, working on it, going through the site plan approval process, everything along those lines. So,
Full-time?
yes, full-time and part-time, right.
And what are your hours?
They are 24 hours.
Okay.
Yeah, we
Oh,
do.
good.
Yeah, we do want to provide 24-hour service to anyone that comes in, and
That's great.
yep.
Any other questions for them?
Nice-looking building.
Thank you.
It is.
It is.
Thank you for being here. We're excited.
Yeah, thank you for having us. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Anyone else? If not, we'll close the public hearing. Motion?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
So roll call vote. Harrison?
Yes.
Hattie?
Yes.
Odessa?
Yes.
Bill?
Yes.
Cannon?
Yes.
Jerry?
Yes.
David?
Yes.
Myself, yes.
Right.
I move that the Board of Supervisors approve special use permit requested by Blackwood Capital LLC to construct and operate a convenience store fuel station with the following conditions listed in list of conditions by the planning commission.
Second.
Have a motion seconded. Bill?
Yes.
Shannon?
Yes.
Jerry?
Yes.
David?
Yes.
Harrison?
Yes.
Patty?
Yes.
Dessa?
Yes.
My vote is yes. All right, we've got one more here for Robert pursuant to 15.2-2316.8B.
Yes, sir. Mr. Chairman, members of the board, we're here to consider a solar siting agreement. This is a project that you had done a special use permit for last year in May of '22. We just have not done a siting agreement with the company for the construction of this site. The Code of Virginia allows a host locality to enter a siting agreement after holding a public hearing. This public hearing was duly published in the March editions of, first and eighth editions of the Farnborough Herald. This siting agreement includes a one-time voluntary payment of $50,000, which is $10,000 per megawatt, plus an annual payment of $1,400 per megawatt. I'd be glad to answer any questions for you. The solar company should be on the phone. They were going to call in. I'm not sure. Okay. So if you have any questions for them, they are on the phone. I'd be glad to answer any questions that any of you might have.
Want to have any questions?
You can see in Appendix A the schedule of payments to the county and what this project represents.
I have a question for the representative on the line. What is the life expectancy of this solar energy facility?
Good evening. My name is Jeff Diamond. I'm the senior solar developer for this project. I thank you for your time tonight. So the current agreement is for 25 years with 2 renewals of 5 years, so 35 years is the current agreement. Once we get to that 35 years, if we do intend to extend it, we'll work with the landowner to extend it. Right now, the current expectation is 35 years.
Thank you.
That's me. I ain't gonna be here, Chair.
Open the public hearing on this.
I hope I do that.
Yes.
I hope I do.
Motion to open public hearing.
So moved.
Second. All right, Bill?
Yes.
Shannon?
Yes.
Jerry?
Yes.
David?
Yes.
Harrison?
Yes.
Patty?
Yes.
Dessa?
Yes.
And my vote is yes. Anyone like to speak pertaining to this tonight? This is the one right off of 47 up at Pamplin,
Yeah, it's actually,
south of Pamplin, isn't it?
yes, off along the road.
It's the second one that we looked at, wasn't
I think so.
That is correct.
it? Is that right?
It is second.
Yeah.
Sir?
I have a question.
Yes, sir?
So in the agreement, once it terminates, who's accountable for removal or the disposition of the property?
What is your name, sir?
Larry Lawrence.
Larry what?
Doris.
Doris. Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, I'd be glad to answer that. As part of your alternate energy or solar ordinance, a decommissioning plan has to be in place, and as part of the special use permit that governs this. This part that we're here tonight for is for the financial side, the taxation side, because you don't use machinery and tools, you use revenue share, and that's what this is about. But the decommissioning plan, there is a bond or financial payment to the county to make sure that decommissioning is totally borne by the applicant. So the solar company will pay for the removal of the site if they remove it after the term is over. So that's how that happens. But we have a surety in the ordinance, and that's in their governing special use permit that will make sure that happens. That's not part of this actual hearing tonight. But it is a surety that's in place, yes, sir.
Probably, and that is paid to the county, just so that everyone knows. That's something we went through several months ago, but that's paid to the county so that the money is there
to guarantee it.
That is correct, sir. We have another site, and we get payments on that annually.
Any other questions? Yes, ma'am, your name, please?
Virginia Schwab from Franklin, Virginia.
Yes.
How is the power that's generated by this facility going to be interfaced with the current electrical companies, power companies?
Mr. Chairman, I can repeat that for our applicant that's online. So how would the power be basically interconnected with the existing power companies?
Absolutely. So our power for shared solar goes into the distribution network, which goes from home to business. And so the power that we produce is actually used. Often we see larger utility scale goes into the transmission network. And that's kind of used regionally. So ours is actually used locally.
Which power company will be using it? There are two that are in that corner of Prince Edward County. So which company will be utilizing this?
So repeat the question. The question is, which specific power company or companies would be using the power?
Understood. So yeah, we go into the Dominion network with this facility.
Dominion. Any more questions? Anyone else? Not, we'll motion to close the public hearing.
So moved. Second.
Motion seconded. Harrison?
Yes.
Patty?
Yes.
Odessa?
Yes.
Bill?
Yeah.
Cannon?
Yes.
Jerry?
Yes.
David?
Yes.
Myself, yes.
You need a motion to approve the agreement.
So moved.
Second.
Have a motion seconded. Bill?
Yes. Yes.
Cannon?
Yes.
Jerry?
Yes.
David?
Yes.
Harrison?
Yes.
Patty?
Yes.
Odessa?
Yes.
And my vote is yes.
Mr. Chair, may I say something?
Yes, ma'am, thank you.
There is an opportunity for you to sign up with the connection between Dominion Power and Arcadia that would save you 10% of your Dominion electric bill per month. I work at Parkview Gardens. We signed up like 40 people today. So Arcadia and Dominion do have that, and I'm sure that I could, if you wanted to contact me, I could get in touch so that you can see outside of our property how that you can make that connection to make 10%, save 10% on your utility bill, and it is related to the solar system, the solar panel system.
Thank you, Patty, that's good information. Next on the agenda, a proclamation, Child Abuse Prevention Month. Doug?
Hold on a second, Mr. Chairman.
All right. 177.
So at its February meeting, Professor Ian Danielson and students from Longwood University social work class requested that the board consider adopting a proclamation to designate April 2023 as Child Abuse Prevention Month in Prince Edward County. In your packet is a draft proclamation for consideration by the board.
Any comments from anyone, any questions, or motion?
Move that we approve the proclamation.
Motion's been made.
Second.
I'll have roll call vote. Odessa?
Yes.
Patty?
Yes.
Harrison?
Yes.
David?
Yes.
Jerry?
Yes.
Cannon?
Yes.
Bill?
Yeah.
My vote is yes.
Mr. Chairman, Mr. Kevin Meadows from our Department of Social Services is here and would like to say a few words.
Certainly. Thank you.
Good evening. How's everybody? I'm Kevin Meadows from Prince Edward Social Services. This is not something I normally do. I was asked to step in for our director. So really just wanted to speak up and say that, you know, across the community, we plan as an agency to partner with Centra. We've got calls into the school, our office, of course, in front of the courthouse to put up pinwheel gardens. So I didn't want anybody to be, everybody wonders what this pinwheel means. So I'll give you a little history. In 2008, the pinwheel symbol was launched by Prevent Child Abuse America. As part of this campaign, it was to promote healthy child development while raising awareness to prevent child abuse and neglect before it even ever happens. The blue pinwheel is the nationally recognized symbol for prevention because it represents the great childhoods all children deserve and the prevention efforts that help them happen. So I would just like to praise my staff, the services staff that does child abuse or investigates child abuse, child neglect, and also elder abuse and elder neglect. But this is all focused on children. So thank y'all. And if you see these gardens out, now you know why they're there.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, one of my students, I thank the board properly.
Sure, it's fine. Thank you. Step right up to the mic.
Hi, everyone. My name is Brooke. I'm a senior at Longwood, and on behalf of Phi Alpha, we just want to say we are grateful for your partnership that this proclamation represents, and we just want to repeat our commitment to organize and host service activities to promote awareness and raise fellow community members' skills in protecting our community's children. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Very nice.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And if I may just provide the briefest update regarding our service activities that we will do to honor and observe Child Abuse Prevention Month. We've gotten confirmation from the High Street Theater, which is part of Longwood, to use its 50-seat facility to put on Stewards of Children training. Stewards of Children is a contemporary sexual abuse prevention training that arms its attendees with knowledge about how to respond, what to do, sort of an adult collective response to deny opportunity to would-be offenders. And we'll be doing that service activity in partnership with social services and perhaps others, as we have in the past. We've submitted an application to the Moton Museum because we'd like to do a second Stewards of Children training there as well. And we would expect that would be about attended by about 50 people as well. So we hope to train 100 people, and that would include Longwood, Hampton-Sydney, members of the community. All are welcome. So I just wanted to share, since you took the action to proclaim April Child Abuse Prevention Month, we will follow in suit with honoring and observing by trying to move the needle and making our community just a little bit more protective for our precious children. So thank you again.
Great job.
Thank you. Good job.
Thank you all.
Shout out to the Department of Social Services. I want y'all to introduce my daughter, Chelsea. First time she's been in the third floor. Yeah, Chelsea. And I know for a fact, I'll be in home at 12 o'clock at night, she'll get a call from the sheriff's office. Some child is somewhere they shouldn't be, and they have to go out and take care of them. Make sure they're protected and taken care of. All times of night, the day, midnight hour, early morning hours, it's important. I appreciate it, parents appreciate it, and we all need to be supportive of them because they didn't ask to be here on their own. So we need to take care of those children. They are the future, they are the future, they are the future, and they are today. They was what it's all about, the present and the future. So I know, because I see it. And she's dedicated to it, committed to it. And Kevin, she worried you. In a good way. Thank you for what you do. Thank you for what you do. I appreciate it. And the citizens appreciate it. Keep it up, Chelsea. You're doing a good job.
We hear you, Mr. Tam.
Thank you, Jerry.
I'm home tonight, Jerry. You know. I got you, Chelsea.
All right, next is a request from the town of Pamplin City.
Yes, sir, Mr. Chairman. Attached for the board's consideration is a request for $50,000 from the town of Pamplin City to assist with the cost of a parking lot to serve as the western terminus of High Bridge Trail State Park. Of course, you heard a little bit about that from Daniel Jordan. As the board is aware, currently the trail ends at Heights School Road. The land purchased by the Virginia Department of Conservation and Recreation for Norfolk Southern will enable the trail to extend another mile into the town of Pamplin City. As Mayor Hamlet stated in her letter, the completion of the project, the last mile, is many years in the making and would have a significant positive economic impact on the entire Pamplin area, benefiting citizens in both Prince Edward and Appomattox County. So there's a letter from Mayor Sarah Hamlet Blackwell, and she is here. And I think she has even better news for us as far as the request. So Sarah, if you will come up, we'll turn the mic over to you.
Stay going through here. Good evening, everyone, and thank you so much for allowing me to come out and speak to you this evening. As Mr. Stanley said, my name is Sarah Hamlet Blackwell, and I am the mayor of the town of Pamplin. And we have been working really hard with the state park in order to kind of bring the High Bridge Trail all the way into town and to hopefully help us with our revitalization efforts within the town. We did have our town council meeting tonight, and we had received some additional bids. The ones in our initial request letter were the ones that had been received by the time of our last council meeting. We received one and we voted on it this evening for the total price of the project would be $79,900, and which would reduce our request to each of the municipalities, both Prince Edward County and Appomattox, to $25,000 from $50,000 for that project. And that is what I am here this evening to reach out to the Prince Edward County Board of Supervisors with that request. And if you have any questions in regards to what the town is trying to do, I'd be more than happy to answer them for you. Yes.
Question? The town is actually in 2 different counties, right?
Yes.
Like Farmville is.
Yep.
Imagine a building or something up in the town of Pamplin, years ago, the old train station.
The train station was donated to the town by Norfolk Southern, and through different agencies and grants, we were able to have it completely refurbished. Our town office sits inside that as well,
Okay,
as well as the
good.
Pamplin Museum, and we have an event space that is rentable that is also located in the old freight room.
That's great.
It's a beautiful building. I highly recommend you come down and take a look at it.
Oh, okay. I knew it took a couple of years to get it.
Is it open just business hours, or can you pop into it?
It's open 12 to 5, Monday through Friday, but we do have rentals on the weekends. We have weddings and parties and that sort of things in the event space.
Yeah.
So,
Mr. Chairman, as proposed, I would pull the $25,000 from our ARPA funds if the board is so inclined to support the project.
I move that the Board of Supervisors approve dollar for dollar up to $25,000 for the Appomattox County contributes to the completion of the construction of the Western Terminus parking lot of High Bridge Trail State Park.
I'll second that.
Have a motion and a second. Bill?
Yes.
Cannon?
Yes.
Gary?
Yes.
David?
Yes.
Harrison?
Yes.
Patty?
Yes.
Odessa?
Yes.
My vote is yes. Thank you very much.
thank you all. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right, next item, opioid settlement resolution. Bill?
So attached for the board's consideration is a resolution approving the county's, approving the county's participation in the proposed settlement of opioid-related claims against Tevia, Allergen, Walmart, Walgreens, CVS, and their related entities, and directing the county attorney to execute documents necessary to effectuate the county's participation in the settlements. I will say, the whole opioid situation, as far as the funding stream, is very convoluted. It's lots of little streams, and you're getting, checks of 5,000 and 7,000 here and there. All the settlements haven't been completed yet, so we still don't know ultimately, county may get $250,000 to $500,000 at the end of the day over a number of years. There are strings attached to all of them and how and what they can be used to be spent on. We have not spent a dollar. All the funds have been deposited into an account. Ultimately, we'll have to make some decisions on that. But to get the funds, you have to approve the resolutions and go through that process. So Terry and I guess both are on the email list for the state that gets the request out. But in order for us to settle and get a disbursement from these settlements, we need to pass the resolution to be part of that. Anything else, Terry, you want to add other than that?
Like if we did in 2021, they're looking for all the localities in Virginia, because Virginia will get a larger share if all of the counties and subdivisions join on.
And the spending of the money has to be kind of related to the.
You've got to use
remedying
it
the
for,
impact of-
you've got to use it, some localities have worked with like their CSB to do treatment. Some are working with the state regional jails. Some have they set up, some counties are doing all of it for drug courts, to set regional drug courts. So, that's something we'll have to, but, when you've collected, say, $15,000, it doesn't worth, at this point, it hasn't been worth spending the time to go through it until we've got enough to actually do something. But, I think, unfortunately, it's a convoluted process and there are strings attached to it, but in order to get the funding, that's what you got to do.
Move that we approve the resolution.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded. David?
Yes.
Jerry?
Yes.
Cannon?
Yes.
Bill?
Yeah.
Justin?
Yes.
Patty?
Yes.
Harrison?
Yes.
My vote is yes. You need my signature on this page yet, Doug?
No, we'll get you here.
All right. All right, next, Finance and Human Resource Report. Cheryl? You gonna go A through M?
Yes, sir.
All right.
Sorry, we have been very busy this month. Not that we're not always busy, but we are particularly busy this month. The first topic of discussion is the appointment of the Chief Animal Control Officer. However, we would ask that you would appoint him as an animal control officer before you appoint him as the Chief Animal Control Officer. So his appointment for the Animal Control Officer would be effective March 15th, and then appoint him as the Chief ACO effective 4/1. And that would be Adam Mama, who is coming back to us from,
He was here before.
He was here before as the Chief Animal Control Officer.
Went to the Richmond Animal League, which is their shelter operation. And he's been back with us for a
He's been here
while.
to Revere
Buildings and
3
grounds.
times.
Now Chris
Yes.
is leaving us.
Yep.
And so we had the good fortune to have somebody who's very experienced and very capable, who wants to resume his previous position.
Davis, he's been here 3 times.
He was here, then left, and then he came back to us, now we're gonna give him another job.
Correct.
He does not burn bridges behind him.
Okay.
He was working in buildings and grounds prior to us rehiring.
He did.
He did. I feel like that's looking in my face.
Think he gonna stay this time?
Yes, sir.
Need a motion for that?
Yep.
I move that we reappoint Adam Mama as a animal control officer.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded. Bill?
Yes.
Cannon?
Yes.
Jerry?
Yes.
David?
Yes.
Hesitate a little bit. Harrison?
Yes.
Patty?
Yes.
Dessa?
Yes.
Two hesitant votes. I'll vote yes.
Next up.
Landfill.
Yeah,
But-
I guess you need to
or
vote
is
to,
that- Is that up to Doug, is that up to Doug to make him as chief?
So the Code of Virginia requires that the Board of Supervisors actually act on the appointment because you give him the authority to enforce the county code and the state code. And he can only do that after he takes an oath of office, and he can't take that oath of office without your appointment. Unlike most county employees that just assume office, you're giving him, I don't know that it's really police powers, what is it called, sheriff? You're giving him the authority to write those tickets.
Police powers.
That requires the board's action.
so we need,
So we can
Just
put,
the animal control.
And
Yeah, just.
So he's up, so that's already been
that's
done.
already done, so we good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
next item is landfill abatements. As the board is aware, every year the county has to write off bad debt from landfill users who do not pay their bills. In 2021, the county wrote off $33,199 of bad debt, which included a long-standing bill from a vendor that went bankrupt. In 2022, the county wrote off $1,397.28 in bad debt. As of March 8th of 2023, the county has $17,675.72 that is 60 days overdue, and $17,093.57 that is 90 days overdue. I will tell you that we have received some of that money in the last few, like yesterday, so it's not quite as bad as that is as currently. But of that $17,093.57, the county will write off $5,588.62 as bad debt, effective 8 March.
And you say it's not quite 5,000 now?
No, the 5,000 is still there, it's not quite the 17,000.
Okay.
We have had some people pay their 60 and 90-day bills in the last day or two. Maybe $3,000 or $4,000 that's been paid.
I had somebody ask me a question. Now, once we do this, write it off, we don't give them another account, do we?
They're not allowed to use the landfill after that.
Why was 22 so much lower?
I'm sorry?
Why was 22 so much lower than 21 and now 23?
I think it was just because we had caught up in 21, so 22 wasn't as bad.
21 had one extraordinarily large, outstanding.
It was like over $20,000, that $20,000 to $30,000, yeah.
If we are to write this off when we start a clean slate, is that correct?
A clean slate for,
For this year?
if you write off 5,000, no, we'll still have
Still have
12,000,
12,000.
12,000 left over that's carried. We can only delete the charges every 3 years. So right now, we're in 19. So the 5,000 is for 2019, that's bad debt that we've been carrying.
Oh,
Yeah, so it's nothing current, this is not stuff.
It is
last
not in
3 years.
2022, no.
and you included in the material that, you know, you can't necessarily recoup it through real estate tax if it's in an entity's name and not an individual's name.
Correct.
If an individual owes this tax, you can't take the tax.
Correct.
You can't take it from him or.
Yeah, so what the treasurer's office was looking at was to take it out of their bank account.
Yeah.
If they had a bank account attached to their name.
Yes.
Unfortunately, most people are paying by credit card now, so they don't have that information available to them. So that's part of our issue with trying to collect this. So our next step, of course, is going to small claims court. And, of course, that would be for accounts that were over like $25 to make it worth our while to take it to court.
Yeah.
That was my next question. Where do we set it so it's worthwhile?
At one time, it was $25, but that we would also add on interest charges and whatever other fees we can get from the court to do that.
I think the ultimate goal will be when we resume the discussions about the solid waste ordinance, will be to require
An
have
account.
an existing account that's approved, which means that we know that they are a viable entity and that we want to extend them credit. But right now, our system, by virtue of the way it's established, we extend credit to just about everybody that comes in. So,
And unfortunately, if the company goes belly up in 6 months and
or changes their name or,
That's right.
you know, whatever the case may be. So I think that would be the goal for the coming year is to change the way we do business.
Do they get your bill every month?
They do.
So
As
if-
long as we have a good address.
Okay, so
There is some occasion we
if you
do,
don't
they
pay
do
it
not.
like the first month, they get the next, one, then you cut them off.
They keep getting bills, but yeah,
they keep dumping?
after six, they're not supposed to, unfortunately, some
Okay.
people do,
Okay, that's why the question was, really.
yeah.
And with our system, it's a little bit, I don't know if y'all know a lot about this, I'm happy to be out there just about every day, so I literally have a stack of them this thick on my dashboard of my truck right now, of part of these right here. Some of them, they don't owe. I know the county thinks they do, but let me rephrase that. According to the county, they owe them. But I know for a fact of part of these that where a person was cleaning out an old house and they got charged for a commercial fee when they didn't. So that's the reason why I was asking how we wrote it off or how we did it, whatever
All they
else.
have to do is call me and explain to me that,
I understand that. I've
That's
got a stack of them. I'll talk to you about them, but that's,
that would be fine.
Because I had that problem, I took some tires up at it, was it up in the
Yeah,
road shop a couple years ago?
tires, unfortunately, you are gonna get charged for, whether you're a personal or not,
yeah.
because we get charged $150 a ton.
Yeah, I found out that, I
Yeah.
didn't mind paying the money, once I found out why. It was like that.
Right. Yeah, that is one thing that it doesn't matter whether you're commercial or personal with the tires, because we have to pay $150, the citizens pay $150.
Right.
You still put them in old trailer up there?
I,
When you take the tires, you
Yeah,
put them,
well,
you put them,
they end up in trouble because they go to a manual tire eventually.
but I mean, when you take them yourself,
No,
you said put them in an
depends on-
18
depends on
wheel.
what day it is. If the convenience site is open, you can put them in the convenience site. If it happens to be closed, then you have to take them down and put them in the trailer. So
All right,
that's,
have you ever did that?
have I?
Yeah. Kinda dangerous, ain't it?
By the hundreds.
It's kinda dangerous. Is it kinda dangerous or not? Is it kinda dangerous?
Yes, that's, I'll agree with you, Bill. There's something there that we've got to change
Yeah,
because
that's
that's,
got, cause somebody gonna fall,
they're gonna fall off of
they
that.
gonna get a suit against the county, cause you don't have anything to hold on to.
Right.
You take the tire out the truck, get up in the 18, what, 20-some foot trailer,
40.
40, and you gotta carry them all the way to the front unless it's full. It's dangerous. Coming off the
I know
ground.
where you're coming from.
That's real dangerous.
I know where you're coming
I
from.
thought about it myself. Just fall out of it, you know what I mean?
That's part of our.
Thought about collecting some cash.
Just falling out of it. I mean, think about it.
Don't you carry them anymore for Bill? Let me carry them for you.
It's real dangerous. I mean, it really is.
Good thing
real
we got
dangerous.
you elected.
That's
It's real dangerous. Somebody needs to look into that, I think, you know.
something to add to your list of things to do, Sarah.
But it is.
We didn't know about it.
I said, come out and pick up 4 tires, carry them up there.
So you don't need any action on this, do you?
No, this was just informational
I'm just saying,
only.
maybe
It'll be
somebody might look
later
into
in the
it.
year when I'll ask you to actually write the bad debt off.
But you might ask about that safety thing.
So Sarah's gonna take care of
Thank you,
that,
ma'am.
since she is the,
So I guess Doug or whoever is, do we want to go, are all of these worthy enough to go to court in you all's opinion?
not all of them, no.
Okay. That's where I'm getting at.
One,
No, some of them, the 10s and 20s will get written off. And I don't know off the top of my head how much that is, but I can get you that
And
information.
sometimes just getting Terry to send a letter sometimes gets a little better reaction. So that's, we're looking.
Actually, unfortunately, my letters had more worth than Terry's did. I hate to say that, but it seemed to be more, when I send a letter that says you better pay, then they seem to,
That's because they were by getting cut off too.
yeah.
That's right, too.
another little item, intended out there. I've run into it a few times. A lot of times I use my company truck to haul stuff from home. When you hit them scales, he's already putting it in the system, and I gotta get out and go around and tell him, no, this came off the farm.
Yeah.
Well, I've already put it in now. Okay, all
Oh,
right. So,
I've not heard that one, and I haven't seen, I think I saw one ticket for you in the last month or so for Mid-Atlantic
Saturday.
Irrigation.
Saturday, but it wasn't Mid-Atlantic.
Oh,
Oh, yes, one from the company also.
that was like last month.
Yeah.
I haven't seen anything for this month, because remember, we're a month behind when we get the tickets.
So when someone is not paying their bills, at what point do they get cut off from dumping?
60 days overdue.
They're extending credit for 60 days, but long story short.
That's because we figure it takes them 30 days to get the notice and then another 30 days to pay it. So,
That's pretty industry standard.
It
That's,
is, it is, that's,
I gotta tell you something a little funny about Saturday. I got there at 22 minutes to 12.
you were late.
Well, the sign says 12 o'clock on Saturday.
They accept
Yeah.
loads till 11:30,
Yeah.
unfortunately.
He looked at me kind of funny when I drove up, and I said, I'm sorry, I done the best I could. That's the way you were put it.
As long as he took you in, it's all
It
good.
wasn't a problem.
Yes,
But-
30 minutes earlier because it takes them 30 minutes to close down. So that they say last load, 30 minutes.
I had to mess with him a little bit.
Was it James working, Mr. Little? He appreciates you messing with him.
yeah,
Let's see.
so I guess this is for information only.
It
so-
was for information only or suggestions if you had something that would be
Maybe
better.
give you so many suggestions.
So we appreciate your input. The next is a appropriation for the landfill loader purchase. At its October 25th, 2022 meeting, the board approved the lease purchase of the John Deere 75K crawler loader for a total cost of $446,606, utilizing VML VACO to finance the total purchase on a 5-year term for an estimated annual cost of $100,963, and authorize the county administrator to sign the contract for the purchase and the documents with VML VACO. The loader is now in the possession of the landfill and the funds have been received. The board is asked to appropriate the $446,606 to the landfill construction vehicle line. In addition, we request the first payment of $50,112.11 due on June 1st, 2023 be appropriated.
So moved.
Second.
You have a motion, seconded. Patty?
Yes.
Dustin?
Yes.
Bill?
Yes.
Shannon?
Yes.
Jerry?
Yes.
David?
Yes.
Harrison?
Yes.
My vote is yes.
Mr. Chairman, just a quick question. Do we, I know that we did this on payment plan, do we have the money to pay for part of this? That $8,000 interest hurts me.
it does, that was all part of what we saw. The good news is we're getting close to 4% on a lot of our money now, so the difference between what we're making on investments versus is probably just 1% or 2%. But as you know, I think going in from a cash flow standpoint, sometimes you make the decision to pay, like last year, we paid off all the police cruisers with cash. With this one being a large one, we made the decision to finance it. Interest goes down quick after the first couple of years.
Next item is appropriations, the proceeds of the Scope Building sale. The Scope Building sale finalized on February 9th, 2023 for $100,499.79. The board is asked to appropriate the funds from the sale of property to the capital improvement line for fiscal year '23.
So moved.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded. Patty?
Yes.
Dustin?
Yes.
Bill?
Yes.
Shannon?
Yes.
Jerry?
Yes.
David?
Yes.
Harrison?
Yes.
My vote is yes. Excuse me.
Next item is appropriations, the AFID grant disbursement to the IDA. At its December 13th, 2022 meeting, the board approved the proposed modified Sandy River Distillery Performance Agreement for the Agriculture and Forestry Industries Development Fund and Master Agreement. The $25,000 AFID grant funds have been received by Prince Edward County. Section 3A, disbursement of AFID grant, states that within 30 days of its receipt of the AFID grant proceeds, the locality would disperse the AFID grant proceeds to the IDA authority. The board is asked to appropriate the $25,000 to be dispersed to the IDA according to the agreement.
So moved.
Motion made and seconded. David?
Yes.
Jerry?
Yes.
Shannon?
Yes.
Bill?
Yes.
Justin?
Yes.
Patty?
Yes.
Harrison?
Yes.
My vote is yes.
Next is the appropriations for the CDA special levy. The CDA special levy appropriation in the current budget is $96,604. An additional appropriation of $34,460.24 is being requested to cover the CDA special levy payments received.
Motion?
So moved.
Second.
Motion, seconded. David?
Yes.
Jerry?
Yes.
Shannon?
Yes.
Bill?
Yes.
Justin?
Yes.
Patty?
Yes.
Harrison?
Yes.
And my vote is yes.
Next item is the reformatting indexing grant for the clerk's office. The clerk of the circuit court has received a reformatting and indexing grant in the amount of $28,184 from the Library of Virginia Circuit Court Records Preservation Program. These grant funds will be used to reformat and reindex deed books 48 through 93 from 1754 to 1960, 16 for local records preservation. The project is being completed by C.W. Warthen and was scheduled to begin toward the end of February.
So moved.
Second.
Motion seconded. Bill?
Yes.
Shannon?
Yes.
Jerry?
Yes.
David?
Yes.
Harrison?
Yes.
Patty?
Yes.
Odessa?
Yes.
My vote's yes.
So will this now be on microfiche instead of, does anyone know?
It's my understanding, I believe
Yes.
so. I think it was in, let me see what was in the letter from. I'm looking to see if it tells us in this
As
letter.
Sarah and I know, some of the existing books are in pretty rough shape, so getting into microfiche will at least preserve them for perpetuity, I think.
It will, but it makes it people like me.
It's harder to, yeah. Unfortunately, about half the books are broken, and when you're trying to do deed research, you've got to spend twice as much time putting them back together as it was taking them apart.
The next,
Will that ever be to where you can pull it up without having to go there, or do you know? Does anyone-
I know some counties have been able to do it online, access it.
They go back to a certain year.
1916, 1919. And they have right many on online.
Yeah,
Not sure of the date.
it's the early
Varies by
1900s, and everything's online.
Yeah, and this is taking it from 1754 up to 1960.
all right, the next item is the litter prevention and recycling grant. Prince Edward County has been rewarded a non-competitive grant from the Virginia Department of Environmental Quality for litter prevention and recycling program activities in the amount of $11,294. This grant is typically used to cover the expenses of recycling televisions and other electronic products through Synergy.
So moved.
Second.
Motion seconded. Harrison?
Yes.
Patty?
Yes.
Justin?
Yes.
Bill?
Yes.
Shannon?
Yes.
Jerry?
Yes.
David?
Yes.
My vote's yes.
Next item is the appropriation from the town of Farmville. As the board may remember, at the July 19th, 2022 meeting, the Board of Supervisors approved a request to partner with the town of Farmville for a proposed facility assessment to evaluate the Mary E. Branch Community Center for building renovation and reuse. On December 29th, 2022, the town of Farmville provided payment toward the Mary E. Branch Community Center in the amount of $11,303 to cover their portion of that assessment. So we're asking you to appropriate.
So moved.
Thank you.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded. David?
Yes.
Jerry?
Yes.
Kenny?
Yes.
Bill?
Yes.
Dessa?
Yes.
Patty?
Yes.
Harrison?
Yes.
My vote is yes.
Next item is item J, which is town election appropriation. The Office of the Voter Registration and Elections for Prince Edward County submitted an invoice to the town of Farmville for expenses incurred by the registrar for the town's portion of the November 22 elections. The town has sent an ACH to cover those costs. As you can see, we're asking for approval to appropriate those.
So moved.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded. David?
Yes, sir.
Jerry?
Yes.
Kenny?
Yes.
Bill?
Yes.
Dessa?
Yes.
Patty?
Yes.
Harrison?
Yes.
My vote is
I'm
yes.
sorry,
Curious how much money that was.
it was 5,000, sorry,
5532.
yep.
532.54.
And then it shows a breakdown of what those expenses were further back in the items that I gave you. She did a really good job of breaking down exactly what she charged the town of Farmville for.
The state uses paper ballots or electronic.
It's a question about what ballot use type. So I believe, paper versus electronic. I believe in certain instances, you can either request it. Yeah, I don't,
Because it's state by state, right?
and you do the mail out. If somebody is like from their house, they can request a copy. So those are the ones especially that are,
I mean, like on election day, where everybody's using them. Some
Yeah.
states.
now you have, the state mandated that there has to be a paper trail.
Right.
Previous elections, 15, 20 years ago, everything was electric. Now everybody's worried about vote stealing and something disappearing, so there has to be a paper trail,
Okay.
a hard copy. Yeah, that's
Yeah, that's what I was-
that's mandated by the state.
The next item is insurance recoveries for the sheriff's department. The sheriff's department received payments from VACOR totaling $4,534.70. The board is asked to appropriate the $4,534.70 to the sheriff's department vehicle repair line to cover repair costs.
So moved.
Second.
Motion's made and seconded. Bill?
Yes.
Cannon?
Yes.
Jerry?
Yes.
David?
Yes.
Harrison?
Yes.
Patty?
Yes.
Dessa?
Yes.
My vote is yes.
So I'd be happy to know I have two more items and then I'm finished.
Before you out there, Sheriff.
I'm sorry?
Wore you out, he said.
Before you out there.
It's been a long day already. The next item is school appropriations. The Board of Supervisors has received a request from the Prince Edward County School Board to appropriate the federal and state funds described below for a total of $169,141.28 for the 2023 school year. There is no local match required for this appropriation.
So moved.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Bill?
Yes.
Cannon?
Yes.
Jerry?
Yes.
David?
Yes.
Harrison?
Yes.
Patty?
Yes.
Dessa?
Yes.
Sherry, you want to pick up the one in the table pack?
Yeah, I just realized that I thought I was on the last one just a minute ago. Unfortunately, I have two more for you.
We like you, Ms. Stimpson.
The next two are both also for school. The board has received a request from the Prince Edward County School Board to appropriate the federal and state funds described below for a total of $2,500 for the 2023 school year. There's no local match. This is for $2,500 for national board certification.
So moved.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. David?
Yes.
Jerry?
Yes.
Cannon?
Yes.
Bill?
Yeah.
Dessa?
Yes.
Patty?
Yes.
Harrison?
Yes.
My vote is yes.
And my final one for you today is the School Cares Act appropriations. The Board of Supervisors has received a request from the Prince Edward County School Board to appropriate the federal and state funds described below for a total of $375,000 for the 22-23 school year. There is no local match required, and the letter is attached.
So
behind it.
moved.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. David?
Yes.
Jerry?
Yes.
Cannon?
Yes.
Bill? Bill? Yep. Dessa?
Yes.
Eddie?
Yes.
Harrison?
Yes.
My vote is yes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Cheryl. Good job.
All right, next, County Attorney Report, Terry Atkins Wilson, please.
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Glad to see you. As you saw in the report, we finally did close on the Scope building. But the big news of the day is that today, I finally received, I'm not sure how many months we've been working on it, but the 2 easement agreements we've been working on for the property out near Lowe's. There was a sewer easement plus a drainage easement. Anyway, we've been going back and forth. They had promised about a month ago that they were done. They were going to send it to us, and then they came back with some more requested revisions, and we've been going back and forth. But we finally got, the IDA chairman came today and signed those, and we'll get those to record. So that's been quite a process trying to get all of that straight, so we can move forward with developing the lot out there that's for sale. So that's been the big news. Not aware of any major lawsuits that's involved in the county. But anyway, that's good news. Anyone have any questions, concerns, anything you'd like for me to address?
Terry, do you have any idea of what the building will be used for on Griffin, or she hasn't indicated any of that?
No, I don't really know.
Okay.
I don't know.
There she
I
is
thought
right
I'd
there.
seen her, yeah. I thought I'd
But
seen
I
you
can find
earlier.
out maybe.
And if you want to say it's fine, I thought I'd seen you early.
It's still up in the air.
Okay. Well, congratulations
Yeah.
for your purchase.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Thank y'all again for the opportunity to serve you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, Doug, it's time for your report.
As we heard earlier, Chief Deputy Animal Control Officer Chris Revere has tendered his resignation. He'll be taking a position with Powhatan County Sheriff's Office. We wish Chris the best in his new endeavor. After an internal solicitation, again, we've interviewed and offered, he's accepted the position. That's Adam Uma. Adam has been working, as Sarah said, for the Buildings and Grounds Department for the last year, and been doing a great job for Randy, and I know Randy's going to miss him, but at least we know somebody that understands Prince Edward and animal issues in our community will be taking that slot. Mosley Architects met with the PTO this past Monday, and they'll have a community meeting this Thursday, the 16th, to solicit input on the renovation of the Prince Edward County Elementary School. The community meeting will be held in the elementary school cafeteria from 6 p.m. to 7:30. If any of you has the opportunity to be able to attend, I would certainly encourage that. Landfill, I met with Labella Engineering 2 weeks ago to discuss planning for the next cell at the landfill. Given the fact that we were able to increase compaction this past year at the landfill, I think it's bought us a little bit additional time, but we're still going to be needing to plan for opening the new cell F, in the next couple of years. The District 7 polling precinct, we received our certificate of no objection from the Office of the Attorney General to relocate the District 7 polling precinct from Farmville Fire Department to the Farmville train station effective immediately. So with the next elections, the registrar will be able to move that location. The state budget, 2 weeks ago, the House and Senate passed a skinny budget that is meant to, is a temporary budget to hold over while budget negotiations continue. The skinny budget only funded the urgent items that needed to be addressed. The plan is for the legislature to adjourn. They adjourned 2 weeks ago, and they'll come back for a special session. Right now, it looks like that may be mid-April when that happens. Want to thank the Commonwealth Regional Council for submitting a federal RAISE grant application for a $500,000 planning grant for the 3rd Street intersection. As you know, Supervisor Wilk put a lot of effort in that, trying to make that a full 4-way intersection out there on 460 and 3rd Street. And going back to VDOT, all the data and stuff was out of date. We really need to update that study. So hopefully we'll get the planning grant and that will pay for the cost of that study. Prince Edward County Industrial Park, the contractor has made significant progress on the project. If you haven't been out on Commerce, please go by next time and take a look at it. Solar, we've received notice of intent of another small-scale solar project. This one out in Elam. It's called Prince Edward Solar One LLC. It's on an 85-acre site and includes about 33 acres of solar panels. They had previously held a community meeting at the Prospect Volunteer Fire Department. We anticipate the Planning Commission holding a public hearing on that one in March. Prince Edward County Enterprise Zone expires in 2024 and is not eligible for renewal. The General Assembly passed legislation a few years ago to only allow for 30 zones. At the time that they passed that legislation, there were 60 statewide. There are currently 45. The zones that are expiring are not up for renewal. Prince Edward has the maximum number of renewals. That's why we can't go back. In 2029, the state will be down to under 30, and that's when PE will have a process for applying for the enterprise zone again. So unless there's some additional language in the 2024 General Assembly session, we will lose that tool in our toolbox. The FY 21-22 audit was accepted by the Federal Audit Clearinghouse, which effectively ends the audit process for last year. We had our budget meeting 5:30 this evening. Our next one will be the full board at 2 p.m. on the 21st to meet with outside agencies. Rice Convenience Site, staff is planning to relocate the site to the temporary location beginning at the end of this week. Construction for the new project has been signed and executed. We had a pre-construction Zoom meeting on March 9th to coordinate with the contractor, and they are prepared to move in on March 20th to take control of the existing site. And lastly, Connects Broadband, some concerns were expressed regarding fiber being laid outside VDOT's right-of-way on private property. VDOT has been out and inspected and indicated they had patrolled the routes and not found anything visibly outside the right-of-way yet. They indicated most of the fiber is between the edge of pavement and the ditch. They'll continue to monitor, and they have made some repairs to the edges where necessary. So with that, I'd be happy to answer any questions the board may have.
We'll see the contractor till we're really moving along.
They've got about 60, 70 crew working in Prince Edward right now, so they are making significant progress.
Anyone else have any comments, questions for Doug? Thank you, Doug. Let's see here, item 18, correspondence information. Anything there?
Notice we've got the citizen letter on the 460-307 interchange, and we passed that along to VDOT, and I know VDOT, as Scott has stated, should be able to give us an update next month. Again, all the improvements that are proposed should be in place by maybe 3rd, 4th week of May. Then you have a copy of the Southside Virginia Community College newsletter as well.
19, the monthly reports, everybody's read over those. Everything's good. Any questions, comments about those? Let's see what we got now, Doug.
Closed session.
Closed session is next.
Need a motion?
Please.
Make a motion that the Board of Supervisors move into closed session pursuant to 2.2-3711A5 Code of Virginia.
Second. Have a motion seconded. David?
Yes.
Jerry?
Yes.
Cannon?
Yes.
Bill?
Yeah.
Dessa?
Yes.
Patty?
Yes.
Harrison?
Yes.
And my vote is yes.
All right, we'll go in up.
open session.
Second.
Motion been made, seconded. Bill?
Yes.
Cannon?
Yes.
Jerry?
Yes.
David?
Yes.
Harrison?
Yes.
Patty?
Yes.
Dessa?
Yes.
My vote is yes.
Whereas the Prince Edward County Board of Supervisors has convened in closed session on this date pursuant to an affirmative recorded vote in accordance with the provisions of the Virginia Freedom of Information Act, and whereas section 2.2-3712 of the Code of Virginia requires a certification by the board that such closed session was conducted in conformity with Virginia law. Now therefore be resolved that the board hereby certifies to the best of each member's knowledge only public business matters lawfully exempt from the open meeting requirements of Virginia law were discussed in closed session to which this certification applies, and only such public matters as were identified in the motion by which the closed session was convened and heard, discussed, considered in the meeting of the board. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Bill?
Yes.
Cannon?
Yes.
Jerry?
Yes.
David?
Yes.
Harrison?
Yes.
Patty?
Yes.
Dessa?
Yes.
I vote yes. That takes care of the addendums, doesn't it, Doug?
It does, there was you had the resignation letter from Chris in the packet, and also we had a citizen letter from Rice that I believe is in the newspaper today, but I included my response. It was a gentleman concerned about the new convenience site out there, that we shouldn't be spending money out there, so to make sure you saw it, especially since it was in the newspaper. And then we just need to recess till next week at 2 o'clock.
Motion made to recess until next week at 2 o'clock.
Second.
21st.
Motion's made and seconded. Bill?
Yes.
Cannon?
Yes.
Jerry?
Yes.
David?
Yes.
Harrison?
Yes.
Patty?
Yes.
Dessa?
Yes.
And my vote is yes. I want to thank you all for bearing with me sitting right here, still getting a hold of this.